Hi, I'm Jennifer Simmons with AIM, and it's the end of week 165 of the 2023 session of the Indiana General Assembly. Welcome to our weekly video recap. Joining today are AIM CEO Matt Greller and Government Affairs Director Jenna Bentley. Guys, I'd say you're both looking pretty lucid after a long week, but let's start with a welfare check anyway. Jenna, how's it going?
I'm ready for these next 2 weeks to get over with, that's for sure. But all in all, we're doing okay.
Yeah, hanging in there. Matt,
Yep.
you surviving?
All good. Just here to support Jenna and the team and get us across the finish line.
Yeah, a couple more weeks, and it's not exactly week 165. It's very close. Very close. So House and Senate committee work is finished, and the legislature is now in the conference committee phase where they reconcile bills in each house. What do AIM members need to know about the conference committee process, Jenna, Matt, either one?
Yeah, so really the next 2 weeks are going to be dominated by conference committees. The House third reading deadline is Monday, and then the Senate's, I think, is a day or two later. And so what this means is if a bill was amended in the other house, so say it was a House bill, it was introduced by a representative, and then the Senate made any changes, the House member can decide, do I agree with those changes, or do I want to take it to conference committee to change the form of the bill? And during conference committee is when language that may not have been initially in that bill can be added to that bill. So really, it's a time that keeps us on our toes. So language could be added to a conference committee report. Like I said, that wasn't in there before. They'll take those conference committee reports back to the caucuses where the House Republicans will try to get sign off from their caucus, the House Democrats. Often what will occur is if the Democrats don't give sign off, they'll be removed as conferees, and that's just the nature of the Republicans having the majority. And then the same thing for the Senate, they also have to give sign off, and then there's another floor vote on those conference committee reports. So it's kind of one last bite at the apple to say yes or no on a final concept before it becomes sent to the governor's office for signature.
It's a really difficult part of session too, because often the public part of the process is pretty limited, and a lot of the conversations between legislators are in one-on-one environments, so it's difficult to know what is or what is not happening. So as Jenna mentioned, it's a time to really be on our toes for sure.
Yeah, how much notice are they required to give? Like, so they post a conference committee, how much notice do they have to give?
Well, it changes. The rules committee and the House and the Senate can push up deadlines to like an hour, 2 hours as the process goes along. In the beginning, you'll see they'll give more notice. So I'm actually starting to get notifications that conference committees are being scheduled. But what will happen, to Matt's point, is they'll schedule a conference committee and they'll talk about the differences between the introduced bill and the amended bill. But some of those conversations about potentially other language going in doesn't necessarily happen at that point in time. It really happens in other conversations. So it's keeping an eye on final conference committee reports or final versions of the bill. But yeah, the last few days of session will be, they'll change the rules and your kind of hour notice or a couple hours notice is what tends to happen.
Yes. All right. I think today, Jenna and Matt, I'm going to just throw out issues that we've talked about throughout the session that we're either proactive or reactive on, and just ask you to offer some updates, because as you've said, following bills at this point is really hard, going by bill number, because language is being inserted in various places. So let's just talk issues. Matt, we've said that this will be a bill or an issue that we discuss at the end of session, not going to be decided to the end of session, which is residential property taxes. What's the latest there? Any predictions where this is going to end up?
No predictions at this point. I will say that the Senate this week took a very different approach than the House did. House Bill 1499 came over, which is seems to be the bill moving that contains most of the residential property tax matters. Came over from the House, like we've talked about many times, with a lot of different angles directed at property tax relief for homeowners. The Senate took virtually everything out of that bill and then added other things into it. So, in a big picture sense, I think what that tells us is that the House and Senate are very far apart on what they think a remedy should be, if one is needed at all. So generally speaking, when the House and Senate are that far apart on an issue, you either see nothing happen or you see minor tweaks here and there happen. So we're hopeful that we're moving in that direction, but as we just talked about, the conference committee process is wild, and we'll have to keep pressing forward on that particular topic, probably until the very last minute of session.
Yeah, that's right. So more flexibility on outdoor refreshment areas is something on the AIM legislative agenda for 2023. Seemed like earlier in the week it was getting a little bogged down on with other alcohol related matters, but what's the latest, Jenna?
So Senate Bill 20, which is Senator Brown's original bill, passed the House earlier this week. And it is the underlying bill that allows a municipality to designate outdoor refreshment areas. There's a ton of other language that was added in public policy. That bill will go to conference committee. Senator Brown has already filed a dissent on that. And I believe it's largely to take out the other language and keep the designated outdoor refreshment area language alive. The other vehicle for the designated outdoor refreshment areas didn't get a hearing. The House bill didn't get a hearing on the Senate side, but then Senator Alting added that language into another bill, or is going to on second reading. It's on the second reading calendar still. So his plan is to add it. That hasn't officially been done yet. So hopefully there are still two vehicles with this moving alcohol law, especially in conference committee. It can get really controversial really quick, and we'll do everything we can just to protect the underlying bills that give municipalities more flexibility. It's going to be a conference committee.
That's one of the things we didn't really talk about too much during the conference committee discussion, is how language that really has been fairly, non-controversial, mostly agreed upon, is really at risk when these bills start getting bogged down with other issues that were not part of the committee discussion on that language. So.
Exactly. And I think there's already, like 7 or 8 dissents that we're watching. We may not have issue or concerns about the underlying bill, but it's germane to maybe municipally owned utilities or public safety or whatever the topic may be. It's like, okay, we got to pay attention here.
Yeah. Another AIM initiative still moving through the process is giving municipalities more flexibility on prepayments and deposits. Where is that in the process?
So that's passed the House and the Senate. Senator Zay did dissent on it. Hopefully not because of anything controversial, but because on the House side and committee, they added some non-germane language. So typically the Senate has very strict germaneness rules. So if this is unrelated to the underlying bill, they're more likely to take that language out. And so the language that was added deals with some purchasing for rental cars. So that language is going to come out, and hopefully our very non-controversial, widely supported initiative makes it off across the finish line with no controversy.
Yeah, good. We have not talked much about the state budget, this session, for the same reason as residential property taxes, knowing that it's going to be, the last bill normally that's heard before sine die is the state budget. But, there are some things in there we have to watch, have to weigh in on. Matt or Jenna, like what is it that you're watching the most, I guess, or most closely in the state budget?
Well, I would just start off by saying, really encouraged by at least one piece that we saw come out in the Senate version of the budget just the other day. And that's, funding for the next round of READY. The Senate did change the name of READY, but the funding is still in place. So it's now in both the House and Senate and governor's version. So that's a very positive sign that we'll see the full $500 million coming to us for READY. And we're obviously quite excited about that. And it's a great move for quality of place type developments in Indiana, and continuing to build on what was done in READY 1.0, and hopefully we can move that for years to come.
Mm-hmm. Jenna?
Sorry. So there are just, as Matt said, READY is a really encouraging line item in the budget. A couple of other line items that we care about programs being funded is the Residential Housing Infrastructure Assistance Program. So this is the concept being championed by Representative Miller and members who are a part of that housing task force. There's no difference in funding between the House and the Senate. It'll be funded at $75 million. So that's a good sign. As Matt said, anytime they're on the same page, that's helpful for the long-term negotiations. Public health is funded in both the House and the Senate budgets. While it may not be at the level that the Public Health Commission initially wanted, both still have funding in there. And so all in all, the line items are good. We'll continue to look at the back of the budget, though. That's where different policies can get added. And Campbell, our policy director, will be busy reading through the hundreds of pages of that to make sure things that we may not like get snuck in, or things we do like. Just trying to keep our eye out on that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So the loosening of rules for septic tanks, police and fire merit systems, floodplain changes. I mean, these are just a few things that are still on our radar. Jenna, Matt, what's keeping you up at night besides what we've already talked about?
I would say for me, obviously there's a bunch of big municipal finance pieces still out there, differences on TIF between the House and the Senate, and property taxes, and what hospitals are assessed at. So there's some really big picture things. But in conference committee, I know for sure that Representative Pressel is going to dissent on House Bill 1016, which is the merit boards bill. He would like it to take it back to the original version, which automatically opts in all communities to having a merit board if they don't currently have one and they serve a population over 10,000. So this really is removing a core function, a core decision for legislative bodies and municipalities, and giving it to the public safety groups. So we'll have to work aggressively to educate members of the Senate who voted for a compromise that we liked, but they did not vote for the introduced version. So that'll require just a lot of education to hopefully ensure that language in the introduced version doesn't pass.
Yeah.
For me, Jenna alluded to it. There's some language in the DLGF bill that the DLGF is not proposing. It just became a Christmas tree bill, is what we call it, and was added. And it deals with property associated with hospitals that is currently assessed at 3%. Now would be moved into the 2% bracket, which of course would be a financial hit to all taxing units, but especially to cities and towns, and maybe even more so if the property's in a TIF district. The concern, I think, is that the fiscal report from the Legislative Services Agency on the bill is pretty innocuous, but in talking to municipal advisors and others around the state, the localized impacts are quite significant. So we're back to the education point of trying to understand, one, why is there such a discrepancy in the fiscal impact, and then two, if that fiscal impact is indeed significant as we think, educating legislators on what that means and why it's so important to us, so that we can either have it removed or adjust it accordingly. So that's, if there's one keeping me up right now, that's the one for me.
Yeah, did that issue go through the committee? Like, was it in an introduced version of a bill?
No, it was amended in Senate Tax and Fiscal in a, I don't know, 100-page amendment,
Mhm.
which is
It's a
common.
significant policy change, right? That's,
Huge policy change that hasn't yet been vetted by the House, so we're hopeful. We'll continue to meet with fiscal leadership on both sides, but really have to tell the story of what a big change this would be. And
yeah,
especially to
absolutely.
Matt's point about the fiscal, one community is telling us this could be a $500,000 to $600,000 to $600,000 impact annually to their community. And so really just trying to figure out the numbers, and helping educate.
Great. All right, guys, anything else for this week?
Good here. I just encourage everybody to continue to be responsive. We've put out some calls for information here this week, and we'll continue to do that, I'm sure, in the next couple of weeks. The response has been great. I know it gets tedious sometimes, but the responses we get are tremendously helpful in trying to make our case at the General Assembly. So keep it up, everybody. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Great comments. We will be emailing you this week. If you're watching as an AIM member, please watch your inbox for action alerts and updates from the AIM legislative team. Watch your cell phone for text messages asking for your engagement. Read the bill tracking list. Definitely read this week's legislative summary. There will be some things discussed in there that aren't covered here. And we will see everyone back next week for a pretty important update as we near the end of session. Thanks.
Thank you.